Okay, so let me start with the topic of bonus syllabus, and let me tell you what actually is the agenda of this session. So this is a part of the bonus syllabus series which we conduct regularly to keep on increasing the knowledge of our students out of the syllabus also. So this is not a part of the syllabus topic, by the way, but this is coming from some recent interviews that my students faced, and they asked one topic in the interview that how you can enable or implement one-to-one relationship in Salesforce. Now, please note there is no such concept in Salesforce called as one-to-one relationship, because the standard relationships that we have, that is the master detailed relationship or lookup relationship, this is nothing but one to many. But there is no such concept called as one-to-one in Salesforce. Then we have to actually get the, we need to answer, we need to just generate that scenario. We need to do some extra efforts. The way there is no many to many relationship in Salesforce directly, then what we do, we create some extra efforts, that by creating one object and another object, and then after that the junction object and all these things which we have seen in the past. So similarly, for one-to-one also you have to put some extra effort. So this is also one very famous interview question. How you can do this? Okay, let me now show you one by one here. So point number one. So there are multiple ways, by the way, of creating the one-to-one relationship. I will give you multiple answers. You can remember anyone is enough. Anyone is enough for you. Okay. So let us do one thing. Let me go to the Salesforce environment, and let me go to the Salesforce environment, and let's do one thing. Let me take any two objects and at the top, and I'll do one thing. I'll go to classic experience, sorry, lightning experience, and from there I will just show you. So let me take any two objects, by the way, here. Let's say maybe teacher and student, anything which is right now with the one to many relationship, but you want to now make it as a many to many relationship. Sorry, one to one relationship. So please note, right now, let me correct the last statement. Right now we are having two objects, student and teacher. Naturally, there is one to many relationship because they are connected by, let's say, lookup. Now I'm going to show you practically how you can convert into one to one. Why there is a need of one to one relationship in Salesforce? Many scenarios are there where you want to kind of have a strong dependency, and for example, one vendor and one deal. Let's say you want to stick with only this format. One vendor can be only associated with one deal. That's it. A vendor cannot be getting multiple deals. Or for example, one student should be connected with one teacher, and that is what actually we want. So a kind of one-to-one relationship sometimes we need in Salesforce, but we cannot achieve by default out of the box features, and we go for extra efforts that we are going to do now. So how we are going to implement and what is the process for that? Now let me explain you. Let me explain the background first of all, and then we'll see the other things later. Step number one, what we will do is we will, let me give overview. Step number one, we will create a lookup relationship between two objects, that is teacher and let's say student. Already done. And here, then please note that we created the field on student and connecting to teacher. Then we will take the benefit of a custom field. Let's say for example our internal field, let's say for example let's say the maybe let's say unique teacher, that can be custom field, let's say for example. Okay, and make this field as a unique, okay, let's say unique teacher constraint, something like that, any name abc xyz or unique teacher constraint, whatever name you want to give, and make the field unique, and it will hold the ID of the associated teacher, okay, or let's say teacher ID or unique teacher ID, anything, but store their teacher's ID, and unique field you need to make. Now after that you can do one thing, create a workflow rule on the create a workflow rule in this case, and do one thing in this case. Whenever for example any relationship is formed on the, let's say for example, student and connected to teacher, at that time you update the ID of the teacher on the student record. So teacher name is Maria and student name is, let's say, Ajay. Now as soon as this connection is made, and now we want that it should be one to one, and now again any kind of other record is also trying to make Maria as a teacher, it should not be allowed. How we can now achieve this? Let us see. Here we go. Practically implementation, we can do that. Anyways, this is enough for you to understand and answer in the interview, but still I want to make you guys confident enough, so let me go for that. Otherwise in interview they will not ask you practically. Please note this point. Let us move ahead. So let me do one thing. Let me enable, yeah, you can see a teacher and student is there. Student is there and teacher is not there. Okay, no problem. I will do one thing. First of all, I will just go to pen. By clicking on pen I can just try to change the order. So let's say maybe student, and just drag it upside, and where is student, again drag it upside, and fine, here is student in the third number or second number. Now let me add more item. Teacher also I will add, because I want to show you all the scenarios. Click on teacher and add to navigation bar and scroll up. And where is teacher? Teacher. So scroll up and scroll up and scroll up, and teacher and student near to each other. Okay, so that you can easily understand, and save. So this way also you can make the modifications in the navigation structure of Lightning. And now let me show you here. Pay attention. Without having one-to-one relationship, what will happen? Click on a new student, and let me first of all create a new teacher. Let's say create a new teacher. Let's say teacher name. So let's say teacher name is, for example, Maria. For example, the same scenario which we discussed, Maria, and let's say physics, and let's say save. And now I'm going to create a student, new student, and student name is, let's say, for example, Ajay, and definitely the mentor teacher is Maria. If there are multiple Maria record, then it will be difficult. Let me see. Okay, 1 minute. It looks there is some kind of filter made in this object. So I need to go to object definition page first of all, and go to object definition page. Let me see, is there any kind of filtering mentioned? Go to fields and relationship, and mentor teacher, which is a lookup field on teacher, and edit. So there is a filter on English subject. Okay, fine, then I'll do one thing. There is a filter on English subject. Okay, then no problem. I will just do one thing. I will only select English subject teacher, no problem. So you can see here there is a filter on English subject, no issues. I will create a teacher with English subject only. So let me go back and let me create a new teacher, and I will do one thing. I will give here name, let's say Maria in the bracket English, for example. Okay, sorry, Maria and English. This way I will give unique name, and whatever the subject. No, now this time only English subject should be selected. Save. So this teacher is now associated as a mentor to this student. Student name is Ajay, and or let's say I will use different name because maybe Ajay records are there. maybe Adam, for example. Okay, and which teacher? Maria. So that should be only with English bracket. Yeah, that one. Connected and save. That's it. Teacher student, the association done. It's one to many because now I can create one more student and the name of the student anything, and I can again associate the student with same Maria teacher and save it. This is not required. This is not required as per the business logic. Our business logic says it should be one to one. So once Maria is associated with Ajay, that's all. No association again. This kind of scenarios we need in the business process. As I said you, mostly vendor to deal, etc. We want one vendor to have only one deal, etc. kind of scenarios. Okay. So how we can achieve that now? Again, Maria cannot be associated with any other student. Here we go. First thing first, you do one thing, you create a unique field on student object. Okay, let's create a unique field on student object. How to do that? Click on this and go for edit object, the shortcut for going for editing of any object. And go to field relationship, fields and relationship. And after that you create a new field. Okay, and after this now you create here a field. Let's say text field is also fine, and go for next. And mention here teacher unique ID. Any name you can give. I'm giving this name. 10th is, let's say 20 is fine. And click on next. And click on visible to everyone. For instead of everyone, I can also do one thing. Only for us it's necessary because it's an internal field. So only we want to see that. Customer should not see that. So let's make available for only you, that is system admin. Next. And save. So now this field, and we have to also make it unique. So let me do one thing. Go to that field, teachers unique ID, and let me also make it unique. That's necessary. Otherwise, we cannot achieve one-to-one scenario. And edit. And where is unique? Yeah. So say this is, you can see the option unique. Okay. So just click on this unique, and also you can make case sensitive for the better performance. Case sensitive. It should be case sensitive and save. Okay. Now what will happen? What we will do, as soon as any student record S2 for example is associated with any teacher's record T6 for example, then that teacher's ID we will actually mention in that unique field. That ID we will mention here. Okay, we will note it down the ID. But that is possible by only taking the benefit of a concept called as workflow rule. So what we will do is in the custom field, we will actually make this field unique, and by using custom field we can like hold the id associated or associated information. So what we'll do now here is let me just now show you workflow rule to update the field, and let me show you how we can make this possible. First of all, go to Salesforce environment and go to home and workflow, and click on workflow rules, right click and open a new window, open a new window, and click on new workflow rule, and you are here. Click on new workflow rule. So you are going to write this workflow rule on which object? So we are going to write this workflow rule on the student object. So let me just show you here. Type S, student, and next. Rule name, let's say for example, uh, student teacher 1-to-1 rule, for example. Okay, 1-to-1 relationship rule. And you can create this, created or modified anytime. You can just do that, create or edit, no problem. And that you can set here. And apart from that, you can write the workflow rule whenever the record ID is changed. Or you can also do one thing, you can mention in the created also, because as soon as record is created, we want to map this as soon as record is created for the student. Okay, and click on save and next. And condition wise, you can just do one thing, whenever you want to mention any kind of conditions, which is we should be working every time, then like as soon as record is created and every time you want to work on this, then let me teach you something unique, a different technique which we follow in the real-time project. So just mention here true, that's it. Select the option formula and write it here true. So I don't want to check any condition, just for all the conditions you move ahead and just proceed. I don't want to have any condition check, and check the syntax. So this kind of technique also you can use when you don't want to just check anything, just move ahead, that's all. For every record creation I want to do this. Click on save and next. So this is a technique which we follow in the real-time projects. And now what you want to do, so see, I want to just do one simple activity. So I want to just do a field update. Okay, what kind of field update you want to do? So see, let's say field update of teacher ID, for example, like this. Which field you want to update? See, there is a field called as teacher unique ID. That is the value there, teacher unique ID. Okay, fine. What value you want to update on the teacher unique ID? So you can just click on this, or you can use a formula. Also, you can click on the formula. So which field you want to take? So insert the field. Which field in the student connected record is teacher. So let me now go for the teacher. Whenever you see mentor teacher arrow, this one, then it means you can access the fields of teacher also. Whenever you go for just mentor teacher, then you are just going to get the reference field, that lookup field which is referring and which can contain the ID. That's also fine. Mentor teacher will help you to go for some more records of the teacher. Let's say record ID. That is something most of the times in the real-time project you will use the arrow one. Okay, normal is just going to use the reference of that lookup field. Arrow one is very important. Arrow one will give you the fields, value of the fields on teacher also. I'm going to take the record ID. Whatever is the teacher's record ID, that only I want, and insert. That's all. And this underscore R you already saw in the relationship field in the development syllabus. What is the meaning of R, right? And click on save. So whenever any teacher student record is created, then the teacher's ID should be copied there. And click on done. So this is all the efforts we are doing, because there is no by default solution in Salesforce. And activate, don't forget. And to ensure every teacher should be selecting, every student should be selecting a teacher, we will go for the student field and we'll make it compulsory. So here make it required, so that every student must select teacher, otherwise we will not allow him to save the record. So make it compulsory and click on save. Mentor teacher is the lookup field on teacher. Okay, so what is the current situation is this. So we created a student object called as student, and we have created an object called as teacher. Student is having lookup to teacher, and there is a field, let's say lookup relationship field we created. Now, to ensure one teacher can be associated with only one student as a business plan, we created one extra field there, and this extra field is actually the unique value of teacher. And what we have done in this extra field, we are just by using workflow rule, copying the ID of the teacher, and that's the current situation. And now let's see what's going to happen next. So let me show you now a demonstration. What I will do, I will create a new teacher now this time, and new teacher, let's say here, and I will create a new teacher, and let's say for example Arjun is a new teacher. Okay, I'm just writing a new value because just I want to select a unique value. Maybe there are many records in my database called as Arjun, so I want to just take something unique, and of course let's say English because there is a filter, and otherwise I would have taken any value. So selected Arjun, teacher record is selected. Look at the ID, by the way, look at the ID of Arjun. At the end QA4, something like WQA4. Okay, remember the ID of Arjun. Okay, now you go for a student. Let's create a student. So I'm going to click on student and a new student and give any name. Let's say Robert, and connected with Arjun. So I'm just going to use Robert new for example, and this time select Arjun only and Arjun new and save. So here for your kind information, here we can also, so whatever field we created on that user, that record, we can now also show that field or make this field available in the page layout. That also we can add, by the way, if we need that to add on the page layout by using the making changes in the pages layout. Okay, we can do that. Fine. So now let me show you what exactly happening internally. So I will go for the object manager and I will add that field on the student, which we made as available on the student. Right now I removed from page layout. So let me do one thing. Let me go to the object and let me also show you how ID is getting captured, because the workflow rule, if it is working, then ID should also come. So it is loading, object manager is loading, and type your student. Okay, and this student, second number student, is the field, page layout, and edit the page layout. So you can see this bonus session is covering many things from your knowledge bank: page layout also, workflow rule also, unique values also, relationship also, filtering also. And now let me teacher unique ID, and just give 1 second. Teacher unique ID, and if I go to student, okay, just give 1 second. Now let me go to the field and teacher's unique ID. Let me go to fields and relationship, and teacher's unique ID, where is that? Click on this and click on set field level security. Let me see why the field is not available for me. And system admin, that should be available. That is strange. System admin and visible. I will do one thing. I will just refresh this entire page. Let me refresh entire page. Because in lightning sometimes without refresh things will not come, as lightning uses many things without refreshing. And go for Robert new, and it is coming here. So unique ID of teacher Robert new, and now let me go for the so this is Robert new and it's showing the teachers Arjun's record. Okay, some BGXW for example, you can just remember that. And look at this BGXW, etc. Okay, and in the lightning it's showing in the 18-digit format with extra QA4. That is okay, you don't need to worry about this. Here it's just nothing but another type of 18-digit and 15-digit format, so you just focus on that first 15 letter 0702 GXW, and go to the student and open Robert and look at this here. So 07, you can see here 0702 BGXW. Okay, so it's a different format of showing the record, and I'm just going to copy this here. Let me copy this ID and let me just paste here on student record. We can see this ID. Okay, and let me go to the teacher's URL and let me show you. Go to teacher's URL, that is Arjun new, and at the top whatever is the ID, just copy here, and how it's like showing in the URL, and here you can see this is the ID, it's coming. Okay, and just wait a minute. Now let me go for the classic experience also. So just I'm going to open the same record now in classic experience, and let me introduce you something interesting. So let me see where is the teacher record. Let me click on the plus sign. So as a tab setting in done in classic is not going to be reflecting in lightning, I have to go by this way. So let me see teacher, because we need to have separate setting in classic and lightning, or we need to do that. So T, where is T, 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 S, T, 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 teachers, and open Arjun new and open the ID and copy the ID and come here and paste it here. And for your kind information, URL plus lightning experience, by the way, and here please note URL plus classic experience. Please note here, I hope you understood how actually the things are displayed in 18 digit in lightning, 15 digit length in classic. Anyways, this is just one additional knowledge for you, but our requirement is to go back and see whether another student can have the same teacher, that is Arjun new, or not. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to now create one more student, and this time I'm going to create a student, and I'm going to connect to the same teacher, a different student I will create, by the way. Let's say maybe Peter, for example. And now by going to Peter, I will try to connect to the same teacher. Now, as the business requirement is that once a student is connected with any kind of teacher, and that teacher now should not be mentoring any other student because of the business requirement that we have, that should not happen. And by default, as I said, it is not available in Salesforce. Okay, so what we are going to do now, let me now just go for the student, or let's say the Robert scenario. So right now who is our teacher? Arjun is our teacher. Okay, so another student will try to create, who is again going to connect with Arjun. Here we go. So click on this app launcher and see how you can make one-to-one relationship in Salesforce. Click on sales application, which we are using Lightning right now for our example. And click on student, create new student, and assume that the data entry person is not aware about this requirement, and he is again trying to connect the same student, or different student, by the way, but the teacher is same. But the policy of the business is one teacher can be only associated with one student. Okay, let us see. Student name is, let's say for example, Peter, and the mentor teacher, which is Arjun. Look at this, Arjun already associated with Robert. Okay, so he is already having one student. So now Arjun, as per the business policy, cannot have more students. Okay, fine. Let us see. And Arjun, and save. And look at this. So this way, you are not going to allow any other students to connect with Arjun. Your one-to-one relationship is formed in Salesforce, and that is what you are going to do in your project, or that is what you are going to do in your interview. Just explain this and done. Solution number one, what we have seen, the solution number one, first of all, the unique field on child containing ID of parent, that you just saw practically. Second, you can also do another scenario. So possible solution is, so here we are talking about possible solutions. You can tell anything, by the way, in the interview, not a problem. And this we can use also, we can use in lookup relationship also. Okay, suppose you have, let's say for example, let's say for MDR, what you can do, make a roll up summary on parent, that is nothing but here teacher, show count of students. That you already know how to do this. Roll up summary we already learned in that syllabus. Okay, this is not new for you. So show count of students. If count of student is more than 1, then throw error by trigger. That's it. This way also you can achieve. How to throw error? Add error function, you also know. Add error function, you also know how to make it by trigger. Third, just trigger. Just trigger. Okay, you're going to do by just trigger, nothing else, and just trigger. And this one, the previous one we have seen, is trigger plus roll up summary. Okay, and third one, so here unique field. Okay, and just trigger. That's now pretty simple. So for example, before scenario, in the before insert, okay, check number of child records the parent is having. Again, how we can do that? By SOQL. If count is more than, let's say here actually, if the count is like, or let's say in another word, if parent already have child, then throw error. Okay, so this way you can do by any possible combinations. You can go by this, this, or this. Give 3 answers in the interview, and that's all with our bonus session for this very famous interview question: how to implement one-to-one relationship in Salesforce.